Commandant in the Office of Diversity and Inclusion at the Coast Guard Headquarters in Washington, D.C. And I'm an activist for good causes that change lives. To celebrate tonight's event, I have a very special proclamation I'm very proud of, and I'm delighted to read it from the governor of this great state of Maryland. State of Maryland Proclamation from the governor of the state. American Meditating Day, June 19th, 2013. Whereas the Meditation Museum, operated by the Brahma Kumaris, which calls upon everyone to pause for peace and breathe in goodness, believe in goodness, and become goodness at its 13th citywide projects, especially in times of tragedy and despair. And whereas, whatever your faith may be, to pause for peace and believe in goodness is to believe that the heart of every human being is goodness. And we appeal to that spirit for the victims of violence and for the perpetrators of violence. And whereas American Meditating reminds us that goodness and peace is a natural state of the human being. And whereas American Meditating invites communities to pause for peace and collectively hold gentle thoughts, healing thoughts, thoughts of forgiveness, goodness, and powerful thoughts. And whereas American Meditating chooses compassion over violence. And whereas American Meditating heals past hurts and invites everyone to know the importance of their own greatness through paving relationships of peace and honor. Now, therefore, I am Martin O'Malley, Governor of the State of Maryland, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2013 as American Meditating Day in Maryland and call upon the people of our state to join their fellow citizens across the United States in supporting this observance. I encourage all Marylanders to take the time to reflect and find inner peace. Signed, Governor O'Malley, Lieutenant Governor, and the Secretary of State. I would like now to bring out our special guests who will receive this proclamation. As I call their names, will you please come, Sister Gita, David, Narcisa, Antonia, Harriet Fulbright, Deepak. I am proud to present you this proclamation. Thank you all very much. Ladies and gentlemen, nice round of applause. It's quite an honor. It's not only an honor for Brahma Kumaris, but for this great state to embrace this marvelous program. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to Brahma Kumaris and your great work. Bravo. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. Tonight we are featuring international author Mr. Mike George. His latest release is called The Immune System of the Soul. I hope you'll have the opportunity after tonight's event to go out. There will be a book signing following. So this is your chance to meet with him and get copies of his book. But before I bring out Mike, I would like to introduce Sister Jenna. For decades, Sister Jenna, as she is affectionately known, has moved and shaped the consciousness of lives around the world, spreading her positive message to raise awareness of the self and the divine to more than 80 countries, including India, Egypt, Korea, Japan, Greece, and Italy. She has saved lives through this process. Her wisdom, peace, and compassion for humanity are expressed through a variety of initiatives she spearheads for youth, women, governments, and religious organizations. Sister Jenna is a board emeritus of the United Religions and a winner of the Friendship Archway Awards. With a background in broadcast journalism, she has produced many documentaries for the Brahma Kumaris. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce one of the greatest spiritual thinkers of the 21st century. Please welcome Sister Jenna.
Thank you, Portia. And Om Shanti and good evening to everyone. I trust you all got here easily. There was no traffic? There's never traffic at 6 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekday, right? I don't think so. There's never traffic. So you have to keep yourself light in the midst of adversity, because if you don't keep yourself light, when things aren't going your way, then you're going to diminish your light over something that seems so uncontrollable or so small. And I think we're bigger than the little images and situations we encounter, don't you think? Yeah. So I'm so happy that you're here, and a very warm welcome to the Seven Myths About Love, actually by author Mike George, and our 13th project in the nation's capital. Let me just give you an idea of like why we're here, how we actually ended up here for you. On June 10th, 1999, Dadi Prakashmani, which is the image of the lady you see behind me, who I call my great-great-grand aunt, she used to head the Brahma Kumaris, and she visited the city to address leaders about peace issues. And I can recall that day very, very clearly. We were at the National Press Club. We had approached President Clinton to meet with Dadi Prakashmani to share some of the areas of spirituality and how we can approach some of the war-torn areas that were grappling our nation at the time. And unfortunately, he didn't make it because that was the day they signed the Kosovo peace deal. I don't know how many of you know that. Yeah. So that was the only reason why he didn't come out to meet Dadi Prakashmani. And so she went on with the program at the press club called Reverence for Peace. And she left us with a particular phrase that I'd like to share with you. Dadi Prakashmani said that if you give up these three words, you'll not become peaceless. I, me, and mine. She said if you stop using these three words, fighting will cease. And I agree with her. So when we got a proclamation from the former Mayor Anthony Williams declaring June 10th to be a day for peace, Dadi Prakashmani Day, I was in India in the year 2000, and I felt that um, it's not about just a piece of paper on a wall. It should mean something. It should have some relevance. We're not here to show the world that we were with so-and-so, we ate dinner with so-and-so. We're here to allow our lives to become a message of hope and a message of truth for humanity. And I think many of you in the audience have the same feelings, don't you? Don't you feel that your life is your message and that that message should be something that's good? So it's not about posing with pictures with folks or getting awards and all of that, but it's about what you do with this valuable instrument that you've got called life. So I'm in India and I'm sitting in silence and meditation. And the whole notion came that I just don't want this to be a piece of paper on the wall. And thanks to Governor O'Malley, we're going to see what we're going to do now with America Meditating Day. And I'm open to taking your suggestions. But we thought that why don't we plant trees that would symbolize peace in the community? So let's take a look at the journey. Because for the last 13 years, we have been consistent in sponsoring, organizing, and allowing initiatives to take place in the nation's capital. So from 2000 to 2013, take a look at what a group of little meditators are doing in your city. When we got the okay and the approval from the architect of landscape of Capitol that we can plant a peace tree on the grounds of the Capitol, at the time Matthew Evans was a director of the Capitol landscape grounds, and he says, how am I going to recognize you because I'd like to meet you to show you the area that we could possibly plant this peace tree. So I said, well, if you look at the two ladies, that's the symbolic of the Navy Memorial. Do you know right on that side of the memorial when you're driving in to the Capitol, you see these two ladies in white robes? Okay, check this out. So I told him, I think you can recognize me because I look like those two ladies. And sure enough, when he spotted me across the street, he said, oh my goodness, you're right. So we got the tree up. We planted trees at the Capitol. We planted a peace tree at Dodd. That's how beautiful it looks in cherry blossom. That might have been about maybe the third year after. Isn't that cute? Yeah. And we planted a tree on the grounds of the Pentagon. And this was right before 9/11, and we had a moment where We went back just to sit by the tree in silence, and a few soldiers came over and they said, "You know, this is the peace tree." And I said, "Really?" And I go, "How did you know the peace tree was here?" He says, "We all know." That's good to know. I don't go there anymore. They strip search me. It doesn't feel very good. So then we kept moving on, and we were doing projects after projects. So we came up with a project where we wanted to ask people in the city to tell us the values that they brought from their countries. There's so many countries here in the nation's capital. That means all these cultures bring their values into our nation, and they decorate our nation with those values. So we went to all the embassies, and we covered over 200 embassies, and each country sent in what they thought their prevailing value system was in their country. Wasn't that amazing? So they sent in their value system, and we had children from International Child Art Foundation match those values with their artwork. That's generosity. Isn't that cute? Love, uh, freedom, friendship, friendship, duplication. And then we kept going on. We did, when the anthrax crisis approached us, the snipers were there. You remember that time? Yeah, that was an awful time. That was rough. So we had an artist design 3 levels of consciousness, in which the physical world is the world that we perform our actions. In Hindi, we call it karma. The region of light is a place in which many of us have a lot of, when we're feeling good, we have pure feelings and good wishes. It's an altered state of awareness. And then the golden area is what Buddhists will call nirvana, Christians will call heaven, Muslims call Bahish, Hindus call Muktidam. We call it the land of silence. So we got these up all over the city so that we could create a little bit more silence in our nation and just try to stimulate some peace. As a result of that, the Pentagon organized a program with myself and Deepak Chopra to come and speak to members of the military to talk about how we can move towards higher consciousness. So I'm just giving you an idea. Meditation and spirituality, I believe, allows individuals to increase their capacity to do more in a society. We moved on and did Kites for Peace, where we asked children from all around the nation to paint kites, design kites, fly those kites. Yay! And guess what the kids did? They donated the kites to children in war-torn countries. We went to Iraq, we went to Congo, we went to Georgia, and the beautiful story about the kites in Georgia, we found an orphanage of children, an orphanage where children who were basically handicapped or retarded, and the directors there would push their wheelchair, and they would fly the kites, and it was one of the most happiest days of their lives. Tree of Blessings, collecting good wishes and positive thoughts from the 6 continents around the world. Here we are, dancing for peace. We went to the inner city and to different schools. You know how kids love to dance and do that boogie woogie, right? So we were thinking, can you do some boogie woogie in peace? So we asked the kids to see if they could design some dances for peace, and they sure did. Because where there's truth, your soul will dance. There the kids were. They came up with the most amazing routines of dancing. We performed this dance in the front of the Capitol, and we were featured in the front section of the Metro page for the Washington Post. Came out to be one of the most sold images that they've had in a long time. So we culminated a lot. 10 years later, we held a Good Vibes Peace event, and we danced. And we had henna and all of these things, and we went to America meditating. We held an event here. I think Chris and everyone here can remember. Have a lot of friends over a period of time that have done work with us. And here we are, the meditation marathon. We asked you to send in your minutes of meditation that you have done. And I believe I have the culmination of the minutes somewhere here. I was told that not everyone sent in their minutes, so I think that was very naughty. But since I'm a meditator, I can't get upset. And that's really one of the drawbacks of being a meditator. When you even want to lose it, you can't. Drama, drama. So here we go. For um, within the month, the meditation marathon collected 40,847 minutes. Isn't that great? Yay! Yay! So if you haven't sent in your minutes, send them in tonight. We've done meditation, of course, with women in the military, which has been a big thing for me because I don't know if any of you believe in past birth issues. I was clear I was in the military before. I still get all teary-eyed when the anthem plays. So we have been moving. You can see what has been happening over the last few years, and this is just a part of it. This might be 5% of the work that we've been doing in the last 16 years that we've been in the city. Pause for Peace now is sort of a dovetail from America Meditating, where we're aiming to put up 10, 20, 30,000 plaques around the nation. They're at Univision, Activist, Dick Gregory has one up, Congresswoman Gabbard and Duckworth have them in their office. We just presented one to Alice Walker and Lisa Martin from the Silver Spring Town Center. And there is our little brother Deep, who gets into trouble everywhere he goes. So there he was giving Pause for Peace plaques in different businesses so that when you come in, even cats can meditate. Yeah, if you've got naughty cats, get a Pause for Peace plaque. Look at that. Aww. Is that adorable? I mean, couldn't you just see yourself doing that? So I am here in front of you, and we are here celebrating our 13th year, and I'd like to thank everyone who has participated and supported us, especially the well-wishers. Without you, I don't know where we'd be today. For those who have donated and financially kept the thing going, and to those who have just added their expertise and have kind of told us, look, that's a little bit out there, that's a little bit under there, and we go, well, we can't figure you out either, so we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. What I'm just saying is that we are very humbled and touched by your love and your kindness, and I am humbled by the enormous work that's in front of me as the instrument, but I'm very relaxed because I've been offered the opportunity of a great team of folks that really make things work. And we're all here because of them, because of you, because of Mike, because of our love for God, and because of our faith in destiny. So I want to thank you for coming, and do enjoy Mike. Mike has known me since I was 17. He's really old. Oops. But he looks really good. So we had a lovely private dinner for him at the Meditation Museum last night, and I can assure you, you're going to leave with something important for your life this evening. Get your smartphones, record it, um, write down some notes. It's being streamed live on Peace Day TV. It's going to be important. So I thank you very much for coming, and enjoy your evening.
Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Sister Jenna. What a gift to this great Washington metro area. Based in England, Mike George's plays a variety of roles, including author, spiritual teacher, coach, management trainer, mentor, and facilitator. In a unique blend of insight, wisdom, and humor, Mike brings together three key strands of 21st century emotional and spiritual intelligence, management and leadership, and development and continuous education and learning. His previous books include Don't Get Mad, Get Wise, The Seven Ahas of Highly Enlightened Souls, In the Light of Meditation, 1001 Meditation, Ways to Relax, and many others. Each year, he leads regular awareness and enlightenment retreats throughout the world. In his book, The Seven Myths About Love Actually, He brilliantly unravels the mystery of love. And I quote, millions obsess over it, thousands have died for it, we all seek it, few will find it, and even fewer will live it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's find out the rest of the story. Please welcome our special guest, Mr. Mike George.
No matter how hard I try, you keep pushing me aside and I can't break through. I guess this is America, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I wonder if we could just lower that light a little bit, if anyone is in control of the lights. I'd like to see something out there. That's better. Fantastic. So thank you so much, Portia. Thank you, Jenna, for that wonderful overview of the work here in the past 10, 12, 13 years. And thank you very much for coming this evening. Thanks for taking some precious time out of your week. And this is only the third time I've been in this particular city. And if nothing else, it's just great to see that thing in the sky that you see a lot more of than we do in the UK. I brought the weather with me, by the way. You know that, don't you? That nice little bit of rain and H2O. So I guess the focus for this particular time tonight is probably the most popular subject in the universe and has been for many a decade, if not many a century. And I guess the reason I'm kind of sitting here is that a number of years ago I decided that I really needed to understand this thing called love. And the reason for that was I kept hearing people use the word love in so many different ways, in so many different contexts, but yet I didn't really feel the presence of the energy of love in the world around me. So this made me very curious. And so about 10 or 12 years ago, I set off on a little bit of a research project to really understand the true meaning of love. And I guess just prior to that, the reason that I found myself on that particular path is about 30 years ago, I woke up one day very stressed out. And I don't know if anyone does stress here. Do any of you do stress at all? No. I was told that Washington is a stress-free zone. No? No. And it kind of crept up on me, as it does, very slowly. And I just woke up one day and I just realized I have to do something about this. So I went looking outside and inside to see what I had to change. And um, I began to realize the one thing no one ever teaches us in life. I don't know if you noticed, and it's something called self-understanding. And if I don't understand me, then I can't manage me. And if I can't manage me, I can't manage, my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, then I can't manage the stuff around me. In England we have the three R's. Do you have the three R's here? Reading, writing, and arithmetic, I think it's called. I could never work out why they were called the three R's. Two of them don't begin with R, and they're trying to teach us how to spell. But what they don't teach us is how to manage the four R's in life. And every single day of your life, you will have to manage the four R's. Firstly, your responsibilities. And you get a little bit of an education as to how to manage projects and tasks and processes, how to do things, basically. But are you a human doing or a human being? What comes first, being or doing? Being comes first. And I think you know this. You wake up grumpy, and it doesn't matter how well the day goes, it's a grumpy day. You wake up feeling really focused and positive and together. Doesn't matter what goes wrong in the day, you can handle it. because your state of being is solid. And no one ever teaches us how to create our state. The second R, of course, is the context of your life, which is relationship. And no one ever teaches us how to build, nurture, sustain, cultivate, repair a relationship. And I have my first aha moment. This is why the lawyers are having such a good time. Because no one understands how to relate to other human beings. No one teaches us about the complexity of the energy exchange we have with each other. And then the third R is every day you find yourself in different scenes playing different roles. And how many roles could you play in your life? As many as you like. In fact, you're not just going to play them, you're going to create them. And I have my second aha. Actually, life is very playful and very creative. But what do? We take it all so seriously. And why do we do that? Because most of us, we grow up believing really there's only two roles we get to play, one at home and one at work. And that's it. That's me. At home, at work. These are the roles I play. And we get very serious about how to play those roles. And we forget possibly the most important truth in life. I'm sure you haven't forgotten. And that life is simply a game. Is that true? See, I knew you'd forgotten. Life is a game. And we come to play. And we forget that because we take things so seriously. And where does this seriousness come from? Well, it's very connected to tonight's topic because behind all seriousness, there's a certain emotion called fear. And where there is fear, there cannot be love. It's fear that chases love away. And that's why most business people are a bit serious, really, because it's a serious business, isn't it? Isn't business a serious business? I think so. And if you look behind that seriousness, you'll always sense there's a little bit of fear. Fear of loss, fear of not getting to the market, fear of losing the business. And so life becomes a bit serious. And then the fourth R that no one teaches us how to understand and manage is called your resources. And every human being has four levels of resource at their fingertips. Resource is another word for energy, really. Physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, and spiritual energy. We get a little bit of an education as to how to manage the physical diet, exercise, relaxation. But no one ever teaches us how to understand and manage the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. 75% of our energy. And we don't really know how it works. And that's really why we get stressed. We don't know how our own energy, how to use it, how not to abuse it, and how to apply it in all these three other areas. And I realize this, and I have my third aha moment. I have to go back to school. I have to go back to school. And I've been in school ever since. Um, Not academic school, the real school. You know the real school in life? You know the real school? Kind of. Life is close. The real school is your consciousness. Because that's where everything for you happens. You think it's happening outside, but it's not really. It's happening within your consciousness. And that's where you make your decisions. It's where you create your choices, where you have your visions, where you do your learning, where you do your unlearning. And so the real school is really within ourselves. And no one helps us to understand that. And that's really the foundational idea, I think, for what Jenna's been talking about and what the BKs have been doing for many decades now is teaching people how to understand and manage simply themselves, their consciousness. But the only problem there is that we're just a little bit unaware of who we are. And I'm sure you're familiar with the two energies of life. You all know the two energies of life? What do we say? I'm a human being. I have a form and there is consciousness. There's matter and mind. There's body and soul. We intuitively get that. But then one is physical. You can cut it, burn it, drown it, eat it, cook it. Well, maybe not do that. And the other one is invisible, intangible, internal, but very real in your day-to-day experience. Now, which one are you taught to identify with? The physical. And that's why when you get out of bed in the morning,